Hi there guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Gids Singh. Today I'm shooting my very first video and it is indeed a most holy space that I'm shooting from. So I'm super excited about it. I am here in Paracacha. It's a little village just outside the Amazon jungle in Iquitos, which is in Peru. So you're probably thinking what brought me here. I came here specifically to this place to do ayahuasca. This is my second time that I've actually done ayahuasca, should I say third time. I did it 2 consecutive nights early this year in South Africa, and around about 2 weeks ago I decided that it was very intuitive. I am ready for my next dose of ayahuasca. I need greater insight. I'm at crossroads in my life. I'm closing a chapter. In fact, not just a chapter, I'm closing a whole book, I feel, and I'm starting a new one, and I just needed greater insight. But at the same time, I've been carrying a lot of grief and sadness in the last few months, particularly more so in the last few weeks, and it's been manifesting in my body very physically, in a lot of physical pain. So I decided that I also want to release this, and I know that intuitively ayahuasca is the key for this. It's going to help me. So long story short, I contacted the person that I did ayahuasca with in South Africa, and he put me in connection with Claire, who lives here in Iquitos, Peru. So my experience with Claire has been one of very, very different, firstly from my first experience with ayahuasca.
Hi, I'm Claire Mataira from Paracacha, Iquitos. And everything here goes with masculine and feminine and with spirits. And that's not just talking about ayahuasca, it's talking about all the plants that they have here in the forest that they're working with. So for instance, there will be two different types of plants, like maybe Mucura macho and Mucura hembra. And that is one of the plants that we use for steam baths and cleansing the body. And this plant, for instance, the macho is the male, and usually they use the male plant for the females, so that if you have a female guest, you use the macho for healing them. And if there is a male, we use the hembra, the female, for healing him. The people have such a different attitude to illness. Like in the West, we may have a discomfort and we think we have to take some kind of drug to fix it. And here they say, well, the discomfort, maybe you have too much heat in the body, or maybe you are too dirty inside, so we need to clean you. And then they have cleansing plants which will make you vomit and shit, or will make you do different things to cleanse your body inside, and that will then usually also help you heal the problem. We do cleansing baths with cold baths and with hot baths. The hot bath is often a steam bath, and it is used by people sitting in a steam of a plant that's been boiled up, and they start sweating and sweating. So actually the whole organ of the skin of the body is being used to cleanse all inside and outside. And usually this goes accompanied with a diet, and I hope I'm not going into too much detail. But it goes with a diet because they say when you are talking to a plant, when you're taking a plant into your healing cycle, you actually have to honor that plant as a spirit being. So they say the plant doesn't heal just from being the chemical plant. It heals from being an actual spirit. So the spirit comes and talks to your body and does certain things to heal you. So to make the spirit happy, we are going to make a little courtship with the plant, which means that then we are going to take 3 days to 3 months to do a dieta, which means you don't eat certain things. You might abstain from alcohol or from marijuana or both, or you might abstain from sex, you might abstain from salt, sugar, all these things that, especially from pork, All these things have to do with cleansing your body and making it ready for your body to do the healing work that you're looking for. And it could be spiritual, it could be emotional, it could be physical. And usually they see that all these things are somehow related to each other. So in a way, the healing of the forest here is actually very advanced if you get to know it, because it's very holistic, and they're looking at every single part of your person, not just the physical part. So we have the same with ayahuasca. Now, ayahuasca that is cooked by a male is usually a little bit more aggressive, and cooked by a female is usually a bit more encompassing and receiving. The ayahuasca is a plant that has been in the forests here for millions of years and hundreds and thousands of years, and used by the natives to do certain rituals which have to do with, for instance, they use it to determine who you will be marrying, or what's the problem with someone who's disappeared in the forest. They use it often for seeing, so that, like seeing, I mean the third eye seeing. So it will open up the third eye, and it will make you see things in a very different way from what we usually are accustomed to of seeing with the two eyes. So seeing with the third eye, and I know we talk about that a lot in the alternative medicine and all that, and the alternative healing, but it really helps you to see a much more synchronistic field of what we are living in, that we are not just living like an isolated little unit rolling around, bumping around in our environment, which might be a hostile environment, or which might be an environment that we don't feel comfortable in. No, it actually shows you that everything is somehow there for a reason, that if you have a very noisy neighbor, you can look at something inside yourself that actually is triggered by this noisy neighbor. I for myself. And it's helped me a lot to look at my anger issues, and that has to do with maybe being yelled at when I was little, and made me feel very angry and helpless and impotent. So these kind of things ayahuasca showed to me, and then helped me to also overcome that. So for instance, in my own case, if I talk about the noise and the feeling of aggression around me, it showed me that I am actually having a little bit of a trauma syndrome that I'm using to deal with and react to my environment. And that is not actually a natural, true response. It is a response that is come from a trauma that happened in the past. So ayahuasca showed me how to take that out, because the trauma actually makes a mark on our body, on our subtle body, and it actually gets activated and becomes an unconscious trigger for things that happen in our lives. So ayahuasca can actually help you to take these unconscious triggers out, but you first usually become conscious of it. So when you're in a ceremony with ayahuasca, you may be suddenly realizing, oh, I'm really kind of hung up. I'm really hung up about certain things, and you see yourself being really kind of like about things that you in your conscious mind didn't actually think about, that you're not conscious of. So then you suddenly see how you do that, and you see how you react to people in a pretty aggressive way sometimes when you feel stressed, and then other people start reacting to you and saying, oh, she's not very nice, she's a bit of a nasty person, when you actually in your heart of hearts never mean to upset anybody at all. So ayahuasca can show you a lot about these things, and then she actually helps you to take it out. So taking it out is that for about an hour or two, all these energies get collected in your stomach, usually in your stomach, and then you start vomiting it out. I've had people with sexual abuse here, very severe sexual abuse, women who have been able to start on new relationships with their partners because they actually managed to throw away sexual abuse from when they were very small, which triggered when they were with a partner in a certain way, so that then they would start to project that fear and that aggressor kind of energy on their partner and start to back off from their partner. And so up to 40 years in their life, they started to be able to not have a healthy relationship or a natural relationship with their partner because of that sexual abuse when they were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is where ayahuasca can really, really help to make a change for us on a cellular level. But of course, what took 40 years to nurture and sit in your body is not something that's going to come out in the next 5 minutes. So the whole idea with ayahuasca is to not just take it and then vomit and then you're free and then that's it, you know. The whole idea is that you actually make a processing work with it. So you actually have to do your dieta before, after. You might work with other plants to direct yourself a little bit more to the specific issues that you might have related to this problem. Like it could have made you so bitter that you become a diabetic, or it could have made you feel so helpless that you've become an arthritic. For these we can still work with plants that are going to specifically address these issues that you're having as a subsequence of this abuse from childhood. Right, so I want to explain a little bit more about the different ways your body can go through a healing process. It's not only vomiting, it's also could be shitting, it could be sweating, it could be crying, it could be yawning, it could be laughing hysterically, any kind of gut reactions that are boiling up from that experience. And also then it starts to show you, we talk about the colors. I've asked my ayahuasca not to get too fixed on the colors and the visions, because sometimes people go to the ayahuascas thinking, oh wow, you know, I saw tigers and I saw jaguars and I saw all these colors and these animals and the spirits came to me. And it can happen that you do see it, but sometimes that can actually be a distraction, because most people come to do ayahuasca because they are actually in a situation either of crisis or a crossroads, where they are wanting to make some real decisions about their life and the direction in their life. So that means that you're not necessarily looking for a lot of colors, and it could be fun, but you know, we can see that on the movies. I always ask ayahuasca, because it works through the third eye, so I always ask it to actually give us insights. So when you have insights, you can take that with you, you can work with it in your life later on. And you know, maybe you can have an insight, oh, my mother was abused, that's why she was so helpless about situations and couldn't save me from this situation. So suddenly you might go click, you know, and that click moment is really going to help you to change your relationships in the future. I remember one very funny incident which I had here, where a woman had an abuse, a sexual abuse issue, and she found that her partner, that she had been for quite a few years, he was a lovely guy, they were a really nice couple, Westerners both, that he was turning into a monster, you know, and she found it very difficult to relate to him, so their relationship was on the brink. And she came a couple of times to me, and he came the first time and everything was a bit non-eventful, and I thought, okay, you know, whatever, we just work a bit more. So the next time she came back by herself, and he stayed in Iquitos in his hotel. And nothing much happened with her at that session, and I thought, oh, well, you know, you never know. So the next week I went back to Iquitos, and I bumped into them together, and they were really, really happy and shining and radiant, and said, oh, thank you so much for doing this wonderful work with ayahuasca. And I thought, did we do any work with ayahuasca? I don't remember you doing anything, you know, you didn't have much of a reaction in the session. That's what I remembered. And she said, no, it was that he in the hotel room started vomiting and shitting, and he cleaned off all this stuff that I had thrown onto him. So it shows we're all related, and these are the sort of things that can happen when you're working with ayahuasca and healing. So instead of putting all the colors into our visions and rather work on the insights and the subconscious things that we project on others, I make these necklaces. I don't know if you can see them very well, but they are actually the colors of visions that you see, and they have to do with like all these. The whole thing with ayahuasca, and that's maybe why the church is not so happy with it, is because it has to do with fairies. And fairies are really the spirits that make our world hang together. We have really, really underestimated the fairies, and when we went into the pure Father God kind of religion, we threw away a lot of the Almighty Mother who nurtures and supports everybody. And they say here with the plants, every plant, they say, esta planta tiene su madre. And that, in the beginning I couldn't work out what that means, you know, what is this, the plant has a mother, you know. So they said, la madre de planta is the spirit that looks after the plant. So when you want some protection around your house, you put certain plants, and the madre of that plant makes people think that there's a spirit there and there's some sort of scary thing, and so they don't want to go on your property, something like that. So these are the sort of, and to make that plant do that, you actually put some tobacco there with the plant, or you pray to it. So these are the sort of things that in the old Christian religion were started to become paganism, were made into paganism. And I'm very Christian brought up, and I'm not in any way say that paganism is the salvation. But if you look at how the Christian attitude has made us ignore the environment and the effect that we have on the environment, and how the paganism actually, within reason, you know, makes us respect the environment and treasure the environment, and makes us look after the environment and the plants and all the animals that we have here as being worthy citizens of the same planet. So that's what we've completely ignored. And in the past I used to think, you know, oh, it's just a tree, and not realize that this tree is a full consciousness and actually has an effect on me. And one of the movies that I thought was very interesting is The Big Friendly Giant, because the Big Friendly Giant is the one that actually goes to the trees, a certain tree which is a dream tree, and he collects the dreams from that tree. And that is very ayahuasca, because the ayahuasca is one of the dream trees. And there are other dream trees here that you can take that make you dream. And the dreams actually make you wake up to certain unconscious issues and things that you need to look at to make your life more happy and fulfilled, and to make you actually feel that you're going somewhere with the path of destiny that you have chosen in this life.
Hi there guys, so this is me on the river leaving the little village that I was staying in. I can definitely say as I sit on this boat to the mainland, I feel, yeah, like a new woman. I feel like peace. After a long time I'm feeling this inner sense of peace and calmness, and I guess I've always had something to knowingness and surety. And I've had a lot of fears dissipate, but I'm very hot, set, more grounded, but definitely more at peace. And what I've come here to achieve has definitely been achieved. And yeah, I guess I'm just in awe of everything right now, and I'm looking forward to the next leg of my journey. Bye. Thank you so much for checking out my YouTube channel today. If you enjoyed it and if this resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see similar content from my travels and my experiences and how I can help you to live in your truth, just like how I'm living in my truth, do subscribe to my channel. If there's anyone else that this will resonate with, please do share this video with them. I'm also on Instagram as Life is Skits. I do have a blog page as well, www.lifeiskits.com, and I'm on Facebook as well. Please do check it out. The links are below as well, so you can just click on that to connect. And yeah, thank you so much. Love you guys. Please, you are responsible for yourself, so I dare you to live in your truth. Bye.